Hey there, my name's Trent Hall and I'm the head of growth here at DH Marketing. And today we're asking, is AI helping us get more creative or are we automating ourselves into average? I'm joined today by Pascal, our CTO.
Hi everyone, I'm Pascal, and I love this topic. AI is everywhere in marketing, from content to campaign optimization. But I'm interested to see where we land after today's discussion, and if we're better off, or if it's killing original thought.
Yeah, it's I was just saying before we started this, we're looking through some of the run sheet and the questions that I reckon we could talk for this about for hours because we do use AI components here in our at Double H, and we see plenty of our customers to use them as well. The old OpenAI little fav icon in a lot of tabs in a lot of browsers, which is quite funny. But I mean, Pas, for you, where does AI add the most value right now, do you think? Is it scale, speed, content, repurposing, segmentation? Lots of these AI things are popping up even with inside Salesforce tools. So what's your thoughts?
Yes, all of the above. There's a lot you can do with it, right? So that's cool. The thing for me is it's helping a lot, but it's also making some people slower. So for me, AI is about to use it effectively. We have to actually understand what are we doing. Because if you're asking questions, you're going to get answers, but are you actually asking the right question? And that is the key thing for any of these things that we do, right? If you use AI to do insights, for example, understand what the insights are, sometimes it will find insights for you. It'll be like, oh, your journey for returned purchases is really successful. You should do more of them. It's like, well, no, actually, that's not good. That's their return journeys. They're people who've come back and returned their goods. That's not a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me it's got a high open rate, but that's not helpful. Whereas at the same time, if you recommend content, you're like, oh, free stuff, people love it, they click on it. That doesn't mean that it's actually going to lead to the behavior we want, or it could cheapen the brand. For me, marketing is about sorry, AI is about using it as a force multiplier, getting us to do more better, but not just put things in and see what comes out the other side.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I guess some of the things that I've seen are really similar to that. AI does seem to be a lot. I mean, a lot of the tools are very positive in nature. They have this obviously a very programmatic positivity or air of optimism about them. So they seem to like jump to the quite exciting topic that they find when they process data and seem to present that in such a positive way. Whereas, yeah, ultimately it's not always as positive as it seems. So, I mean, does AI risk mediocrity in marketing specifically? Sameness, lack of differentiation, things like diluted brand voice. I feel like people are leaning on it a lot, and we're starting to see it pop up in certain places.
Yeah, there's actually an M dash in there. That's how we know that it's AI generated. Just kidding. And for those of you who haven't heard this, a lot of people say, oh, if there's a dash in the middle of your content, it means you used AI because no normal human ever uses a dash when they're writing content. So therefore, if you see that, it's in there. I don't necessarily agree with that. I do know humans who do use M dashes, but the point is people are looking out for it now, and there's a certain amount of sameness that can occur in content generated by AI if you are not prompting it properly. So the key thing for me here, if you're doing things like content, is what is the prompt that you're doing for it? So the more information you give it, the better value you get out. That's how I feel about it. What about you, Trent?
Yeah, it's I feel like that not only the prompt but the actual model that's being used definitely leads to certain ways that it articulates things. So I know that that you can, what many users may or may not know is that you can switch between models in tools like OpenAI, Gemini, and various other platforms, but that actually has a huge effect on the way that it writes and reasons. So if you have a market that's using maybe the free tier of tools, the models aren't as advanced or reason as much, and therefore they have a lot more of a generic and kind of weird tone to them that is very easy to pick out. So if you're, if tip that bucket of mistrust with your customers and suddenly maybe you might have had a very thriving blog or a content piece or things like that, and then suddenly somebody picks up that it might have been written by AI, even if maybe it's not, it's one of those things that just erodes trust in probably all of your content. It's even the stuff that's not been written or was pre-AI. It's something to really think about when you're thinking about things like brand voice or trying to go speed to market with content. It's definitely something that I've noticed in a lot of, I guess, people that I talk to every day about their tolerance of it.
I think it's very personal, by the way.
Yeah, true. I mean, well, how in that piece, what's the inverse then? How can marketers actually use it appropriately to support their
Yeah.
creativity?
So this is one of the things for me that's when I see prompts that people have written, they love to say things like, make sure everything you say is sourced and don't make up anything, and if in doubt, don't use it. And the more you say these things, and some models even have settings where you can actually adjust how generous it's going to be in terms of assumptions that it's making and so on, the more you actually restrict what it can do, the more boring and bland it gets. I actually prefer to have something that is more likely to have hallucinations in it, things that are not real, and then read what it said and actually adjust it or corrected the hey, that for that particular point, I'd rather you don't say that, please say this instead. And by the way, I do actually say rather and please, so if the AI overlords ever take over, they'll know I'm the nice one.
For those that are listening that are not Australian as well, that it's quite a funny process of trying to get AI to write in Australian context in sentences. We obviously have quite a lot of use of slang and quite a particular way of presenting or talking about things. Whenever you ask the model to have that inflection in it, it just pretty much is like the most stereotypical line out of a movie like Crocodile Dundee. It's hilarious. So yeah, you definitely, its creativity can also spiral a bit out of control if you're not sharp on what you want it to do. How do you build intentional AI aware marketing strategies? So, what is the guidelines that you see are being the future for marketing teams to adhere to with clear workflow, things like tone of voice guardrails and review processes?
That's a great question. So I think that's one of the key things to watch out for. We've got on the topic of using AI for content. That can help a lot. It can help people generate content. It can help bring up ideas. Sometimes it's not even the rather content part that's interesting. It's I had a conversation with the AI bots for a while, and then he gave me ideas for articles. Or he said, "Oh, it suggested these things," and I've said, "Oh no, I don't want that. I want something else." But that process helps you understand what it is that is important. So that's one thing. The other part of that is that I think it needs to be something that is actually understood within the organization. You can't just let the intern go and use ChatGPT to write content, because people don't realize that that's happening. And we've seen some customers where that's happened, where the content is being written by a junior, no one's reviewing it, and people think the junior is writing it, but actually the junior isn't. The junior is on ChatGPT and just went, write an email about this topic, and ChatGPT wrote an email about this topic, and maybe it's right, maybe it's not. And so understanding what that looks like and what is the review process is just as important. In the same way that when you have an email that you're sending out or an SMS comment you're sending out, you have a process to review it. If you've gone through AI, you need to do the same thing as well. You can't just assume just because you used AI, it's going to be perfect. And it's that thing where 1 + 1 = 3, right? You get the human touch on it, you get the AI bit on it, you do some iterations on it, everybody's happy with it, you've had the approval. Great. We're good to go.
Yeah, and I mean, look, one of the evident things that is a huge positivity to most of this stuff is that the velocity that that this can carry for getting things done quicker is great. But you raise a really, really fantastic point, which I think is probably has to start to be at the forefront of a lot of CMO or marketing managers' minds, that if they are looking after teams that are being openly endorsed to use AI, that they give them the appropriate training. Just because that it's a very easy and intuitive UI doesn't necessarily mean that we all are going to suddenly know how to use it tomorrow. I think giving people the insights, I guess it's almost like comparable to maybe your parent who jumped onto social media for the first time and might fall victim to the occasional, spam post or something like that, and you see them make the mistakes that you might have when you're in your teens. So it's comparable in the sense that, you've got to give people the leeway and understanding of how to understand what's right and wrong, and how to look for the things that the hallucinations, or how to fact check the answers, or even just making sure that it doesn't write it with Z's or S's if you're in Australia and New Zealand. So that kind of stuff can make a world of difference to your team's not only adoption but effectiveness use of it, right?
We talked a bit about it as well, but for me, one of the big things is idea generation. So when using generative AI, actually having conversation with the bot, here's some things I think about. Do you think that's interesting? And then, at that stage, I want the AI to hallucinate as much as possible, because that's when I know it's going out there and getting some wild ideas. And then I need to go back in and go, okay, well, that's a little bit too far on this point. That's really interesting. It'd be really cool if you could do this. And then I bring all of these back together, and then I iterate and iterate and iterate and iterate. The great thing about this is that, with a lot of these generative AI tools, you can do it on your phone. So it's not like I'm actually sitting there at a computer having a conversation with it. It's that while I'm sitting in the coffee shop waiting for my coffee to come out, I keep going the conversation. I said three, four things. I go away. I come back the next day. I reread that. I add two sentences, and that some of these conversations that I've had, they go for weeks until eventually you get to someone's like, "Hey, this is interesting. I should talk to Trent about that. I reckon he's got some good ideas."
Yeah, it's the context windows are getting bigger, so it's just getting more detailed, right?
That's right.
Cool. So yeah, we've definitely covered a few things today. I mean, AI is a great assistant. It's not the visionary marketing leader of tomorrow just yet, anyway. But it's obviously really easy to blend it into your workflows. But making sure the guardrails and process is there to not just let it blindly lead your own brand voice. And marketers, you need to learn how to use it and build strategies that involve maybe some ideation with it, but maybe not necessarily completely led by it. So as much as there is heaps of positives, there are heaps of things that we need to be careful with. And yeah, we could dive into this a lot more. I hope that was a cool topic for some people that are using AI every day. And if you're interested in, embedding AI in your marketing strategies, or you have any other queries or qualms about maybe how we use it here at Double H, would love to hear from you. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to info@doublehmarketing.com.au or reach out to us on LinkedIn. But other than that, thank you for joining me today, Pas. It's been an awesome topic to cover.
Thank you, Trent, and see you guys next time.